This was the gold standard for over a decade. Expanded my creativity and laid waste to any gel that I ever put in front of it. It was an oldie but goodie. This is the ARRI M90. This has been my go-to light, bouncing into 12 by 20s, 20 by 20s, rifling through windows and blowing up backgrounds. This light was a game changer. Let's take a look at what this light can give us. So right now, I have the ARRI M90 set to full spot. If you go over here, you can see that we have full spot on our, this is what we're gonna be adjusting. We're gonna be sliding this up and down. Full spot is like 15 degrees. We're gonna slide it to here, that's gonna be 30, and then we're gonna slide it just short of flood, and that's gonna be a 45 degree. This is all the things that we're gonna compare this to the Nanlux 5000B. All right, let's take a reading. So I'm going over here, and this is a mark at 30 feet. This light is full spot, and I am nuked. This is a 45 3/10 at 800 ISO at 24 frames per second, okay? So now we know what full spot is. That is a lot of light. Right now we're at 32 7/10 at 824. Okay, now go just short of flood for 45 degrees. 22 9/10. So you can see this is a very powerful light. And as you can see my exposure, you're probably hardly seeing any detail, but this is beautiful for the oldie but goodie noir look. When you're dealing with M90s, one of the things that it can bounce, it can rip stuff through the background, but when you go to cut it, it has some issues. It's a parabolic reflector, so it's reflecting off of a lot of different things. So we're gonna bring a 4x8 piece of foam core in, and we're gonna see how well this thing can cut and create a hard shadow. Joel, put it to full spot, please. Okay, 15 feet away, and look what I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shadows. 6 shadows, and that is not a nice cut. That will not look good on a wall. That will not look good across somebody's body when they're coming in and out of the light. That's not the greatest cut in the world. Okay, go to 30 degrees, Joel. Doesn't really change. Still have 6 shadows. Go to 45, Joel. Okay, starting to reduce. 45, I got a halo of a shadow. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I've gone from 6 to 4 shadows. Now go full flood. Okay, 1, 2, 3, about 4. Okay, so 4 consistent shadows at 45 degrees and at full flood. And when we go to 30 degrees in full spot, we're looking at 6 different shadows. Okay, now, I'm feeling really inspired, Brendan. I wanna have a nice golden glow on me. So now we're gonna bring up the 179, and now he's gonna put it in and up. So, whoa, what the heck, Brendan? Let's put the heat shield on. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Yeah, boy, that heat shield works like $1,000,000. So you can see we have some issues with trying to gel these lights. Now, I would have to try and go full flood, which then I'm losing a lot of my output. I'm gonna try to do heat shield, space it out. All these things I've dealt with my whole career. You end up blowing through gel left and right and creating a lot of expendable costs on your production. So, I wanna segue from the M90 to the 5000B Nanlux.
We have all our FA Shadow members out here. They're doing an incredible job. We got them in this night exterior in a parking lot. It's the greatest. We compared the M90 in a full spot mode. So what I'd like to do is just kind of take you through a little bit of what the accessories are on this light so you can understand. You have a 30-degree reflector, a 45-degree reflector, and a 60-degree reflector. But what you also have is a Fresnel, as well as a parabolic beam that turns it into a mole beam. So let's do that right now. Let's take this 30-degree reflector off and change it to the mole beam so we can compare to see how close we can get it to our full spot reading that we had on the M90, which was 45 3/10. All right, so now we got our parabolic beam on it that basically has turned this into a nice mole beam. And we want to see how close it can match the M90. So right now I am at 32 7. So that is exactly where we were when the M90 was at 30-degree spot. Okay, so 30-degree beam angle, I was getting 32 7, so we have matched that. Now at full spot, we were 45 3 or 45 7/10. So, you know, obviously at full spot, the M90 has got more power. But what are the benefits of having an M90 compared to a 5000B? Well, the benefits are you have 1 1/3 stop more of light, and that's pretty much it. This 5000B with this parabolic, I'm gonna be able to rip into the background. I'm gonna be able to use it to a bounce if I want it spottier. I'm gonna be able to use it a lot of things. All right, let's change this parabolic beam out for the 30-degree reflector. So this is matching what the M90 gave us at a 30-degree beam, but right now we're at 22 7/10, where when it was at a 30-degree beam on the M90, we had a 32 7/10, but we were able to get that with the parabolic beam. So now let's take a look over here again, and we're gonna go back, and now let's pop that off, and let's go to the 45. Now you also have a 60-degree. We're not gonna go into the 60-degree, we're gonna put the Fresnel on next, but we'll show you what the 45-degree is because we tested that with the M90 as well. And now we're again about a stop less than where we were with the M90. What if we change the color temp? What does that do for us? Okay, full up on that one? Okay, great. We're at 22 7, which is exactly where we were with the comparison to the 30-degree, 1 stop less. Okay, let's go to 4300. $22 6, only lost a 1/10. Okay, now 3200. 22 4, okay, good. All right, now go to 2700. Okay, the same ratio. You're losing that 7/10 of a stop across the light. All good, but let's really test it. Go back to 5600, please. I want to take the light down to 1% because what I've found is when you do that, LEDs tend to go a little green. So let's douse this tube that's lighting me. Let's go down to 1%. Let's pull out the color temp meter and see how it performs. So 0.1 magenta. So we actually have to add just ever so slightly with the tint, but that is really good. It's keeping all the color temp. It's keeping right around 5600. We have just 1.1 magenta. So that means I have to add a little magenta, which it's a little green. But overall, nothing like a massive shift that I've seen with other LED fixtures where like 5 and 6 magenta. That's 1% at 5600. So now let's see what happens when we go to 4300. Stays consistent, 0.1 magenta. Now let's go and put the Fresnel on if we could, please. Now, getting the max output of this, we've put it into high speed mode, and we obviously have our fan full up so it can give us our brightest light quality possible. Okay, so now let's go and give me full spot. Thank you so much, Tom. So we're 22-7, so not bad. The full spot is exactly where we were with our 30-degree reflector, okay? So now let's bring the card in and go full flood on this light, please. Okay. One beautiful hard shadow coming across here, which is awesome. We saw the M90, you could not cut this. You could not control it without 6 shadows. But what I stumbled onto, because I didn't think it was going to be any good, let's put the 30-degree on. So now we're going to put the 30-degree reflector that gives us our most output possible and see how well it gives us our cut. Not a bad cut with the 30-degree reflector. So putting that reflector on, I thought I'd get multiple shadows like the M90. But that's not what's happening. We're still getting a pretty damn good hard cut here, which again, this is a light that has a lot of uses, and you can modify it very quickly and easily so it can adapt. I want to be able to change color temp. I want to be able to have a magenta shift and a green shift, because with HMIs, as the bulb gets a little older, they're a little greener. As they're newer, they're more magenta. So you're constantly trying to manage colors to keep it at a perfect 5600. So let's go over to this light a little bit and just talk about the comparisons. Where's the ballast? Well, the 5000B has the ballast inside the light. So there's no head extensions, there's no head cables, the ballast doesn't have to be somewhere else, it's right here. So think about that kind of time when the M90 goes down, okay? Is it the bulb? You have to check that variable. Is it possibly the head extension? Okay, we gotta look at the head extension. Is it the ballast? There's a lot more variables that go on with HMIs that you can eliminate with LED technology. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add something that's really cool to this light. It's called the bare bulb attachment. So we put a Fresnel on and got a really nice hard shadow, but let's see if we can make that shadow even harder. So what the bare bulb attachment is it's basically barn doors, and then it has all the sensors here to be able to click on. So we're gonna click on this, rotate it in there, and we're going to just use the bare LED to see how hard that shadow will get. Now, obviously, our output is reduced. It's just like back in the day when I was using like a tweenie and I wanted the hardest shadow ever, I would actually take the Fresnel out and just use the bare bulb. So let's go over here and see how well the cut is. Okay, Brendan, let's bring in the flag, please. So look at this, we got a pretty nice cut here, across here. And I would say, what do you think, Brendan? Let's kill that light for a second. A little harder than what we were with the 30-degree reflector and the Fresnel. So I think really nice here. So this is another cool thing that you can add. All right, let's bring up the fill here. I'm gonna walk over, and now let's do our color test. So we know that this light can do everything from 6,500 to 2,700 Kelvin. But I want that nice golden light with that chrome orange 179 color tone. So let's now swing the color in front of it and see if it burns the gel. Let's go up full on this. Let's take the bare bulb attachment off and go to the 30-degree reflector, which will be the brightest and the most focused. So we'll put it about the same distance that we did with our M90. Look at that. I'm able to bask in this beautiful golden glow without it burning the gel. All right, let's lose the 179 and turn off the light. You can see how versatile of a light this Nanlux 5000B is. It can be a Fresnel, it can be a par, it can be a parabolic beam, and it also has a bare bulb attachment for a super hard shadow. You can change the color temperature, you can dial in the tint. It doesn't take as much power, and it's super sustainable and green. And that is your cinematography tip of the night. Nanlux. I think this is the beginning
Of a beautiful friendship. Here's looking at you, kid.